What's going to surprise you about this trailer is the price. This trailer is what I consider to be the Rolls-Royce of teardrop trailers. I'm bold enough to actually say it's right up there with the widely popular vestibule trailer. And it's about $7,000 to $8,000 less than the vestibule once you add all the additional components on top of vestibule's base price. And unlike the majority of trailer manufacturers that bait you with a low base price and then they send you out the door with an additional $7,000 to $10,000 added to the bill, the High Camp Teardrop trailer actually comes with virtually everything you need at base. So today I'll be taking Atlas from Aero Teardrops down to Portland to meet up with Dennis and show you this one-of-a-kind piece of art. But as usual, it's not all sunshine and roses with this camper. Make sure you stick around to see the 3 things I like about this teardrop and the 3 things I think can be improved.
All right, Drew, so I'm just going to walk you through the exterior of the trailer. You should know that all of the aluminum siding, the roofing, all the materials, clear anodized aluminum. So this is a very durable finish. Down below, we've got a gravel guard strip that goes all the way around the trailer, reduces the road rash that you get from picking up rocks as you're going down the road. The fenders here are fully rhino-lined fenders. Again, the front of the fenders will take quite a beating on gravel roads, and so we want to protect them fully. You know, other options, powder coating, that sort of thing, really is not going to stand up to the type of off-road conditions that a lot of people will take a trailer through.
And I'm seeing this birch, how thick it is here.
Yeah, so good point. All of our components and all of our structural pieces in the trailer is made from a 3/4 inch multi-ply, and it's a birch multi-ply. Even on the exterior sheets, it's even pre-finished on the outside. So it's even beautiful where you cannot see it.
And on a typical trailer, this is kind of the weak point. This is like
Absolutely.
with the vibrations over time.
Absolutely. I was very into vintage trailers for quite some time. And this is an area that trailers tend to die because the moldings that screw into these sidewalls need a very dense material to screw into. The vibrations and expansion and contraction over the years, those screws will loosen up, and that's where water will get into those screw holes. That will rot, and then that molding will start to come off.
Traditionally, what are most teardrops built with?
Sure. So traditionally, most teardrops are built with either a 1/2 inch ply of plywood here, or maybe a 3/4. But we'll see a plywood that has maybe 5 plies or 7 plies instead of a multi-ply plywood like this that has up to 13 plies. And the importance of that is a 7-ply is not going to have the density that this will. You'll also tend to see lots of voids, places where there's actually no wood, that a screw could go in and not have the ability to hold in place. And then you get water into that screw hole, and then we get rot in the sidewall. We've got 15-inch Ultra 62 aluminum rims with some General Grabber tires. Our axle below is a torsion axle. It's a 2,500 pound rated torsion axle. The weight of the trailer is 1,650 with the propane tanks filled. So we've got good excess capacity for any type of cargo that you're going to bring, and it's also properly rated, so you're going to get a good off-road ride and a good ride as well. This trailer just started construction yesterday, and before it gets its roof skin, this is a great thing to look at. The front curve of this trailer traditionally is formed with individual thin wood spars that go across to form some structure between the walls and for the roof. We took a different approach to it from the very beginning. We actually this is 3/4 inch solid plywood that we form here in the shop. We lay it up over a form, and then we vacuum press it into this exact shape of our radius here. And what that really does for us is, instead of having these thin strips of spars, we've got continuous support all the way across the front of the trailer from sidewall to sidewall. It makes for a very strong roof system, so we're not depending on 1.5 inch spars to keep us safe if something were to fall on the trailer. Standard this year, we've got a Rhino rack, heavy duty roof rack on every build. I should mention everything that you're seeing on the trailer is standard, so there's no upgrade options that you're going to see here that is not in our package, with the exception of in the cabin there is a on-demand heater. So we've got heat in the cabin here. So that would be the only option on this trailer that is not standard. So moving on from the roof rack, our doors are entirely designed and built in-house, so we're not using an off-the-shelf RV style door. They have some significant problems that we ran into using them, a lot of rework. So we decided that we could build a better door in-house and have the control over quality and the materials that we're using. Our exterior doors we designed, first of all, significantly wider than the standard door. We use 2 HVAC compression latches here. You'll also notice that we don't use a centered slam latch like most RV doors, which can't be adjusted or create any sort of mechanical advantage on the door itself, on the seals. And the door opens up here. You can see the interior hardware. So we have an aluminum door jamb that runs the perimeter of both doors, and you can see the width of this door is 32 inches versus 28 inches, which is a significant difference in width. You know, if you're sitting, you've got quite a bit of room to get in and out of the trailer. And these latches further are going to be adjusted in the future. So if in a few years the seals flatten out or the latches need to be adjusted, we can tighten them up. Doors and windows, by the way, are an issue in the teardrop industry and the RV industry in general. So further, our windows are actually built by a marine boat door and window manufacturer in Vancouver, Washington. And these windows are horizontal slider with a sliding screen as well. You'll notice that even the glass is 1/4-inch tempered glass. So this is not something you could just bust out with a rock. That's probably thicker than your windshield glass. This door latch operates as a deadbolt, and even this latch has a bevel on it. So when that bevel engages the door jamb on the inside, it as well will draw that door down onto the seals. So all of our latches, even on our hatch, have this mechanical advantage. Moving forward up to the front of the trailer here, we've got a storage box. This is an aluminum storage box. We cut the parts for the storage box here on our CNC. So this gives us a really lightweight box. It gives us a good amount of storage for all the things that you want up front here for your dirty items, your wheel chocks and your extension cords. The latch is also lockable here. And then behind that, we have 2 20-pound composite propane cylinders. So these are quite different because these are spun fiberglass tanks here. You can see the spun fiberglass here. These are about 1/3 the weight of steel tanks. So again, this whole component setup here saves about 2/3 of the weight of a steel comparison. And this is quite a bit of propane for this trailer. I mean, we're talking maybe a fill up at the end of the year or maybe next year. So a year or 2 of propane. We've got an automatic switchover regulator, so you can open both of these. And that's particularly helpful if you've got the cabin heater, which this one does. It runs off of propane. So in the middle of the night, if this tank runs dry, that tank will automatically kick in and service the heater. So it's not going to die in the middle of the night and you have to get out and switch tanks. Coming back, we'll probably come around to the hatch here. A couple other things. We've got a porch light outside here. Gives you a little bit of light if you're getting out at night. We've got a 12-volt SAE plug here. We put these in because this roof rack is particularly popular for awnings and that sort of thing. And so a lot of those awnings have LED strips. So you can plug those right into the side here. Even if you don't have an awning, if you want some 12-volt decorative lights outside, that's a nice place to put it so you're not running wires into the hatch or into the cabin. We've got your shore power hookup, a NOCO shore power, so this feeds into the charger converter, which is what is going to run everything on the trailer and also charge the battery. Below that, we've got a solar hookup. So this trailer is pre-wired for solar. So if you have portable solar panels, and they don't need to be big panels, you can plug that directly into this, and you'll be feeding your battery anytime you've got sun. Below that is just a air vent because this is our battery box back here, and by code you should have a vent in that box. So our galley is really kind of our centerpiece, another one of our differentiating parts to the trailer. As you can see, we've got just a beautiful birchwood finish in the galley, throughout the trailer, but it's a hallmark for our trailers for sure. The other very important feature is that we're so picky about the aesthetics of the wood, the grain in the wood, that we actually buy this directly from the mill with a whole, what's called a whole rotary cut veneer. So this is a solid piece of veneer on here. There are no patches in this veneer. There are no seams in the veneer. So we get a beautiful grain all the way across the wood. And that translates into all of our components in the trailer.
So like this right here.
Yeah, so
this piece is just
right.
Beautiful.
Right, so traditionally you might have a little seam here in the veneer. We've got a nice LED light bar, warm light bar back here. So this is not in your eyes if you're sitting out in the back here. On our dashboard, we've got a nice little classic dashboard clock, so you can keep track of what time it is back here. We've got two 12-volt outlets here, which are direct wire to the battery. So one is usually going to be used in camp to run the 12-volt fridge. Low amp draw, probably an amp or amp and a quarter on average. We've got a Renogy battery monitor. So this is going to tell you your exact state of charge of the battery, which is important to know, particularly for AGM batteries. You can see here all the information is on this screen. It's a 170 amp hour battery. So it's one of the largest batteries put into a teardrop this size. We've got a GFCI outlet. This outlet is direct plug to the shore power. So this is going to be live if you've got shore power in camp or in storage, for instance. Dry storage on the left here. We traditionally use this for plates and bowls all nested. We've got a couple saute pans with the handles that fold off. This cabinet here is dry storage. These are usually the things I want first thing in the morning. Coffee mugs, tea. We've got a shelf with shelf pins, so that can be moved up or down or come out entirely. And then further storage, long storage space under the counter here. So right now we've got some Dometic jerry cans here, which they've just come out with. These are 2.3 gallon cans, I believe, and it comes with a very cool electric spigot. So this actually just plugs right into the jerry can, and then you can start it up from here. This cubby over here is our battery compartment and all our wiring. This has got our Noco charger here. Our latest improvement is our cooktop. So this is a slide out 3-burner cooktop. We used to use a Dometic 3-burner. That was a traditional RV cooktop. We wanted to upgrade that to something that was more residential style. This is a really nice 3-burner Furrion. It's got a fully sealed top, so if you spill anything in there, there's no getting anything into the inside of you just wipe the top up. If you've seen the 2-burner stoves, a lot of times, 1 burner becomes useless. They're so close together that 1 burner, if you've got a 9 or 10-inch pan on this burner, your second burner becomes useless. So a stove like this, you can have a 10, 12-inch pan on here, still have room on this burner. We can use a griddle across all 3 and be able to cook griddle style as well. At the rear, we've got a rear receiver, which is standard. All the lights, obviously, LED. So now we're in the cabin here, and our cabin is we'll start with the bed. Our bed is a 60-inch by 80-inch queen-size mattress, so not an RV queen that's been cut down. This trailer, I mentioned, has our cabin heater. So this is a Propex cabin heater. It's actually mounted underneath the trailer, so it's not taking up storage space in the trailer. Very simple thermostat, just like your thermostat at home. You set the temperature. 2 12-volt outlets, left and right. So if you want to charge any phones or iPads, that sort of thing, you can put them up in the cubby here. Water bottle holders left and right that fold down out of the way if you need them. The headboard here, you'll notice, storage goes all the way through the headboard. So there's no divider in the headboard, so duffel bags, shoes, that sort of thing. This is a great spot for them. And essentially extends the length of the trailer, the storage capacity of the trailer, but it keeps the body to 8 feet. So we don't need to get to a 9-foot or a 10-foot body to achieve the same amount of storage. So it keeps our footprint smaller, our overall length shorter. Up top, we've got a max fan, 12-speed fan. It's got a remote control. It's a really nice fan. Moves a lot of air in or out. And this is a fan that you can even run at night when you're sleeping. So for condensation management, you can run this on its lowest setting. It's very quiet, but it moves enough air out of the trailer. A couple hooks, and then we've got storage top here, left and right. So usually the way we work it is we've got our duffel bag of clothing or our clothing bags here the night before. We'll take out what we're gonna wear the next day, put them up into these smaller cubbies so that we're not wrestling out a duffel bag in the morning. And you'll notice that every builder has a formula for storage space versus open space. And we tend to side with a little bit less storage, but we would like to have a little bit more headroom in the trailer, a little bit more room to be able to move around. So we don't have heavy, big, long, or deep cupboards that come down here. We've got lots of room for your knees. If you want to bring your knees up, you're not hitting your knees on here.
Now, the 3 things I really like about this trailer. Number 1, the spun fiberglass propane tanks. I've never seen them on a small camper trailer ever, period. And for us, small tow vehicle owners, anything to keep that tongue weight down is priceless. Number 2, the 3-burner cooktop. Dennis had some very valid points in this video. And when May and I designed our custom teardrop trailer, one of our must-have items was a 3-burner stove as well. Like he said, they just make sense. And number 3, the manufacturing process and the fine details. The custom sealable doors, the multi-ply construction, pre-drilled pilot holes, the leather, the metal trim. This is one of those trailers that I couldn't do it justice through the video. You really need to take a tour through their manufacturing process and see one in person to see why I call it the Rolls Royce. Now for the 3 things I dislike or would change about this trailer. And this really hurts me to say because I absolutely loved my time with Dennis. Him and I really hit it off. And he's just one of those guys who gets it. And because of that, I know Dennis is aware of the limitations of his trailer. It isn't that they were oversights. He chose to prioritize space and aesthetic design over other common teardrop priorities that many of us hold. One of those, being number 1 here, is his 3/4 galley hatch. As I've mentioned with other teardrops, notice how Dennis here, when standing in the kitchen area, is not protected by the hatch from the sun or inclement weather. A 3/4 hatch is not long enough to properly cover the cooking and prep area. There are solutions such as awnings and tents, and I'm not against using these. I just believe you would benefit to have the ability to quickly use the galley hatch for coverage when you don't have the time or good weather to set up additional awnings and tents. To me, this is probably the main reason no small camper trailer can compete with a teardrop. And by eliminating 1/4 of the galley, it's not just rain and sun you're impacted by. You also eliminate all that nice slide-out storage in the bottom portion of the galley. This arrangement may look tidy and clean to the eye as you see here, but it also means you have to reach into a hole from above to grab items. And in my opinion, this isn't ergonomically superior to any other traditional teardrop design. And then we have one more trade-off. By giving the High Camp Teardrop trailer that unique, clean, rich, and open feel that Dennis loves, you're going to sacrifice storage space. You know I'm a big aesthetic guy just like Dennis, and I love a craftsman style trailer. But for me, that aesthetic usually comes second to storage. Most teardrop trailer owners will tell you that storage is king. So what this basically means, and it won't be an issue for many of you, is that your organizational systems will need to be split between your teardrop and your tow vehicle. And if you're an extreme minimalist, you wouldn't even have any issues with this design. Now, I've created a new playlist of all our teardrop trailer walkthroughs to help train your eye to know what to look for during your teardrop trailer search. Each of these videos have little gems in them that you won't find anywhere else. And I found that the more trailers I see, the less I realize I know, if that makes sense. The best thing we can do is increase our knowledge around best practices to see through the marketing hype and get the best trailer for our buck. So as usual, stay safe on the road, and we will see you in the next episode.